Good morning. It's April 4th here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Damin. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. We start with a backlash from the OPEC Plus announcement on oil production cuts. Oil prices leaped 6% on Monday after the world's biggest exporters called for surprise cuts in production, prompting concerns higher oil prices could mean heavier pressure on household finances. Donald Trump arrives in New York to turn himself into law enforcement in a hush money case. He plans to plead not guilty. BTS Jimin makes it to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with his new single, Like Crazy. That makes Jimin the first solo South Korean artist to ever top the chart. Global oil prices surged over 6% on Monday, following an OPEC Plus announcement about production cuts. Now, analysts have hiked up their year-end price forecast and say rising oil prices could result in further rate hikes. Our Jimin starts us off this morning.
Oil prices jumped on Monday, the day after OPEC Plus nations announced surprise production cuts of more than 1 million barrels a day on fears of weakening demand. International oil benchmark Brent crude jumped by more than $5 or 6.3% to almost $85 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude also surged by 6.3% to a little over $80 a barrel after rising to a 2-month high during the session. Members of OPEC Plus, comprising of major oil exporting countries and Russia, shook the market with its decision to lower its production target by another 1.16 million barrels per day. This brings the total amount of cuts by the alliance to over 3 million barrels per day, combined with the 2 million barrel cut announced last October. Estimates show that this is around 3.7% of global demand. In response to the cuts, analysts at Goldman Sachs raised their year-end price forecast for Brent crude by $5 to $95 a barrel. It also hiked its forecast for the end of 2024 to $100 a barrel. Experts say this could eventually prompt more aggressive interest rate hikes from central banks, pushing economies closer to a recession. Against this backdrop, the U.S. disagreed with the production cuts.
Well, look, we don't think that production cuts are advisable at this moment, given the market uncertainty, and we made that clear.
However, Washington's response was milder than in October, when cuts came amid soaring gas prices as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Jimin, Arirang News.
Seoul and Washington's top security chiefs have agreed to continue close consultation as they prepare for President Yoon-Biden's upcoming summit in Washington, D.C. Seoul's top office said South Korea's new national security advisor Jo Tae-yong held his first official phone call with his U.S. counterpart Jake Sullivan on Monday. During the call, Sullivan showed appreciation for Joe's role in strengthening bilateral ties in his previous post as ambassador to the U.S. Based on their trust and friendship so far, Sullivan said he expects to work closely with Joe to further bolster the alliance, beginning with President Yoon's successful state visit later this month. Joe also said that close communication between the two sides should continue as they prepare for the summit and as Seoul and Washington develop their ties in a global, comprehensive strategic alliance. Here in the nation, forest authorities say the level 3 wildfire in Hongseong, Suncheonman province is spreading further. Evacuation orders have already been issued for residents in the area, with more people in affected regions expected to be evacuated. But no casualties have been reported. Strong winds are causing the fire to spread even further. A level 3 wildfire is issued when the estimated area of damage is greater than 100 hectares and when it's expected to take over 24 hours to contain the fire. However, some relief may be in sight as the country should see nationwide rain on Tuesday evening. South Korea has seen frequent wildfires this year due to dry conditions and strong winds, combined with very little rain this spring. BTS Jimin's new single, Like Crazy, has debuted on Billboard, topping the Hot 100 chart. Now, the latest achievement makes Jimin the first K-pop solo artist to accomplish the feat. Our Lee Seung-ja has more.
BTS as a group may be on hiatus, but individually, members have been successfully launching their solo careers. This includes Jimin, who made history on Monday when his single Like Crazy from his album Face topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Jimin becomes the very first solo K-pop artist to top the Billboard Hot 100. According to Billboard, the song also topped the digital single sales chart with combined sales of 254,000 song downloads and CD singles. The chart-topping single was released on March 24th with the track coming from Jimin's debut solo album, which debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 album charts. Before Jimin, Psy reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 with his 2012 hit Gangnam Style. Like Crazy has a very 1970s sound with a synth-pop theme, and Jimin participated directly in the songwriting process. According to the artist himself, the song is about expressing the emotions of the moment when you turn away from reality to forget your scars. He added that his debut album was inspired by emotions felt during the 3+ years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Music critics say Jimin's success on the Billboard chart is further proof of BTS's global success, while adding that synth-pop's unique retro atmosphere and comfortable melodies are easily approachable for global music fans. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Busan is ready to host the World Expo in 2030. Those are the words spoken by President Yoon Suk-yeol to the delegation from the Bureau International Day Expositions at a dinner he hosted on Monday evening. Receiving the team of on-site inspectors at the former presidential office and residence of Cheongwadae, Yoon told the team of on-site inspectors that the Busan World Expo would go beyond cultural exhibitions to become a global platform presenting solutions to common challenges faced by societies everywhere. He said that South Korea should share its unique experience of overcoming war and poverty in a very short period of time to become an IT and cultural powerhouse. In response, BIA's budget chief Patrick Spate reportedly said the delegation values broad support for the expo and said he was impressed by the parliament's unanimous support. Now it's day 3 of the BIA's visit to South Korea. From today, the delegation team will be going down to Busan for an on-site assessment and inspection. With hopes held high, our Song Yoo-jin spoke with the mayor of Busan about how his city's been preparing for it.
The Bureau of International Expositions, or BIE, is starting its on-site inspection in Busan on Tuesday. It's time for Busan to show what it's got after kicking off its World Expo project 9 years ago. Busan Mayor Park Hyung-jun has been one of the bid's key players since he took office in 2021. Ahead of the BIE's visit to Busan, Arirang News had the chance to speak with the mayor himself. He says the excitement towards the expo is higher than ever.
All of us here in Busan are busily preparing for the inspection. We hope the BIE feels this expo fever when they arrive here. Throughout this expo week, 16 districts are holding 67 expo-related events. Wherever the BIE goes, our citizens will warmly welcome them.
As for specifically what the city has been focusing on, the mayor says it's universal values that the whole world can relate to.
The expo is not just an event, it's a festival that shows where humanity should be heading in the future. So we thought that showing our efforts to tackle climate change and going eco-friendly was important. We focused on cleaning up the city and making it greener.
Competing with the Italian capital Rome, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and Ukraine's Odessa is tough. But Mayor Park is confident that Busan has what it takes to win.
Busan is one of the most open-minded and inclusive cities in Korea. It was home to numerous war refugees during the Korean War, and this is where Korea's industrialization and democracy movement flourished. We are a global logistics hub, home to the world's second-largest transshipment port. Our strengths in culture and tourism also prove why we should be the host city.
A united, supportive community is another advantage.
The competition to win the bid has heated up. I can say that South Korea is working as a more tightly knit team than any other candidate. What's noteworthy is that not only top-down but bottom-up, voluntary efforts from the public are spreading rapidly.
Mayor Park will be leading the charge throughout the BIE's 4-day visit to Busan. Not only the mayor, but the city as a whole will pull an all-out effort to bring their A-game.
Busan is good for World Expo, and Busan is ready. 화이팅!
송유진, 아리랑 뉴스.
Lots of events are actively ongoing here in the country to showcase the city of Busan as the most suitable and desirable venue for the World Expo 2030. One is a conference to be held by the Korean Academic Society for Public Relations on Friday. For more on this, let's turn to Professor Hongseong from Busan National University. Welcome to the program.
Hello.
Good morning. With South Korea looking to host the World Expo in 2030, what is the purpose and significance of this conference, particularly at this time of the year?
Hosting the 2030 Expo Busan is crucial for ensuring sustainable life for future generations. It has united the President of Korea, Prime Minister, Mayor of Busan, large corporations, small and medium-sized enterprises, the Citizens Committee World Expo 2030 Busan, Korea, and the general public in expressing the Republic of Korea's aspirations for hosting the event to the global community.
Right, and let's talk about the conference itself. What will be the focus of the conference be in terms of the specific topics and items scheduled to be discussed?
The forthcoming academic conference will address the topic PR moves beyond the Expo. The subtitle is The Power of Diversity and Communication. Its purpose is to foster a collective unified effort amongst Korean PR scholars and the KASPR towards hosting the Expo. The conference seeks to showcase the cultural diversity and communication capabilities of our academic society and the Republic of Korea through 27 sessions and 63 communication studies.
Then the next question is, how can such a conference contribute to Busan's 2030 bid in a meaningful way? How can it be meaningful and fruitful for the hosting of the global event?
The conference will be attended by 200 PR specialists, including academics, entrepreneurs, and government officials hailing from various regions of Korea. They will come together to present and participate in a broad range of discussions on the hosting strategy and anticipated effects of the Expo. The expected outcomes include the research findings that will fuel further interest in hosting the Expo across the nation and disseminate the information internationally, highlighting the dedicated efforts of all Korean citizens, including scholars, who work toward a shared goal of hosting an Expo that promotes sustainability for the future. We are confident in our ability to achieve this goal, and thank you for your attention.
And also, this one is set to be held on Friday, but will there be more before the actual announcement in November?
I'm sorry?
Will there be more conference like this in the future, in the near future?
In the near future, yeah. Subsequent conferences will be followed, but we will monitor the overall atmosphere.
Right. Well,
trend.
yeah, I'm sure you have follow-ups on the conference, which is set to be held on Friday. And I'm sure this is the first edition of all that you will have many more to support Busan so that Busan can become the perfect venue for the World Expo 2030.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Professor, for your insight this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
cherry blossoms, a much beloved sign of spring, are already fading away here in the country. But there's no need to be disappointed. You can still enjoy the scent of spring at the Suncheonman International Garden Expo, which has attracted over 250,000 people in its first 2 days. Our Choi Soo-hyung went there.
Living in the garden. The Suncheonman International Garden Expo is underway for the first time in 10 years. It opened on April 1st and will run through October 31st in the city of Suncheon, Jeollanam-do Province. Since the last time it was held, the city has grown the garden to more than 1 million square meters, which is more than 50 times bigger than Central Park in New York City. After 10 years of waiting, the new viewing points are also expected to capture the hearts of the visitors from all over the world. The garden is located near Suncheon Station, to which is connected by a 2.5-kilometer waterway called Dongcheon, where you can have the unique experience of taking a Korean-style gondola. Right when you enter, the air is filled with the fragrance of plants and flowers, which is relaxing for people exhausted by the pandemic. These include flowers grown locally such as pansies, anemones and tulips. There's a rose garden, a play garden for kids, and so much more enjoy.
There's a lot more here than I expected, and the weather is warm, so I'm having a lot of fun. The garden is decorated so beautifully, and it's very spacious.
You can also stay here every night at a glamping-type facility called Shillange, which in the local dialect means peaceful rest. There are 35 individual tents, and each of them has its own concept with a river view. Tourists can chill in the garden and taste the fresh local foods of Suncheon. What else? There are also gardens representing other countries like the United States, France, and the Netherlands. It will be a great opportunity for foreign visitors to see how their country's gardens have been reinterpreted. On the west side of the expo is a garden in the style of a Korean palace, which provides a peaceful and quiet moment away from the city noise. The mayor of Suncheon said city officials took every effort to manage this expo successfully. In particular, he said that various efforts are being made to accommodate foreign visitors, with more than 2,000 volunteers dispatched to help with foreign languages.
There are numbers of volunteers who speak foreign languages fluently standing by. We will support people who visit in every way we can, using a variety of communication channels.
In addition, according to the official, they will find other ways to reuse this space in the future based on opinions collected from local residents. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News, Suncheon.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Ashley, and we now turn over to stories from around the world. We begin in the United States as former President Donald Trump landed in New York City on Monday local time, ahead of his arraignment the next day. Trump is expected to turn himself into a Manhattan court on Tuesday, where he will be arrested and hear over 30 charges that have been laid against him. He is said to be meeting with his lawyers at Trump Tower in preparation for his court appearance. The impending arraignment comes after an unprecedented vote by a grand jury last Thursday to indict Trump. It makes him the first former U.S. president to ever face criminal charges. Trump has been under investigation over his alleged role in a 2016 hush money payment scheme that involved an adult film star, alongside allegations of mishandling classified documents. But Trump has denied any wrongdoing and says he is being politically targeted. Now looking to NATO, as the intergovernmental military alliance is set to welcome Finland as its 31st member. The Nordic country's flag is set to be officially raised at NATO headquarters in Brussels on Tuesday local time in a ceremony. It falls on the same day as the organization's 74th founding anniversary. Finland's accession to NATO is one of the fastest in the organization's recent history. It means that NATO has doubled its frontier with Russia, as Finland shares a 1,300-kilometer border with its neighbor. Meanwhile, Sweden was meant to join Finland, but has been blocked as NATO members Turkey and Hungary failed to ratify its application over accusations of harboring terrorists and criticizing leadership. Now, both Finland and Sweden applied for NATO memberships last year following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, in space-related news, the first group of astronauts to chart a voyage around the moon since the Apollo missions over 50 years ago was announced on Monday. The four-member Artemis II team includes the first woman and the first African-American to be sent on such a mission. 3 of the members are from NASA and 1 is from the Canadian Space Agency. The Artemis II team is set to fly around the moon on a 10-day mission slated for 2024. It will see them travel as far as 370,000 kilometers from Earth, beyond the far side of the moon, before returning. Data collected during the mission will be used for the Artemis III mission, which aims to put humans on the moon's surface in 2025. And finally, marine scientists have broken 2 world records, first with the deepest ever video recording of a fish, and by making the deepest ever capture of a fish. In footage taken in September last year and released by Australian and Japanese scientists on Sunday, a snailfish can be seen at a record-breaking depth of 8,336 meters in deep trenches off Japan in the northern Pacific Ocean. It was recorded using unmanned marine landers equipped with cameras. The find beats the previous record of 7,703 meters, and the team also broke the record for the world's deepest catch by capturing a juvenile snailfish at a depth of 8,022 meters. Now, the achievements come as part of a long study into the world's deepest fish populations.
Good morning. So far this spring, there has been 270 wildfire reports from around the country, which is twice as high as the same time last year. Unseasonably warm temperatures and extreme dry air are the main causes for that. And at last, there is some very much hope for rain in the forecast. Rain starts from Jeju this afternoon, spreading to the south coast by late this afternoon before expanding to the entire country tonight. Jeju will see more than 200 millimeters of rainfall. The capital and inland regions will see 10 to 60 millimeters. Now, this round of rain is forecast to linger into Thursday. But it's going to stay warm and dry until that welcome rain falls. Seoul sees a high of 22 degrees Celsius, going up about 7 degrees higher than season norms. And for other parts of the country, Daejeon and Gyeongju will be topping out at 23 degrees Celsius. Skies remain cloudy all day with decent air quality. Temperatures will be on the cool side of normal after that rain goes away, and by Saturday morning, Seoul will wake up to a low of just 3 degrees Celsius. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
That wraps up today's New Day at Arirang. Do stay with us for more updates throughout the day. Thanks for watching.